Hey, good to have you here. We are talking about readmes today. Really, or in this video. And we're talking about them really quickly. README.md is something that should be in every project that you create, and pretty much most projects out there. Industry standard for programmers, and you've probably seen them before. README.mds. They're basic files. It's almost self-explanatory, like, hey, what's inside of there? That's like readme, like key information. It's gonna have some stuff like authorship, like who wrote it, key instructions for the program, and that kind of stuff. Now, what's that .md thing about? That extension is talking about Markdown. It's the language that it's written in. It's a common language for basic text, and we're not going to go deep into markdown language, but we are going to use it for readmes here, and just create at least one that's like ours, and then you can just like copy and paste them between projects and just like modify it. We're not going to get deep into this language. So here's an example of a readme. It would have the like a title on top and stuff, and who it's by. This is what it would look like in presentation preview of the Markdown. This is what it looks like written as a language. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to copy and paste this guy and just use this. So copy that, and we're going to go into another page, that allows you to see side by side. Here we go, Markdown language on the left, and then what it should look like in the preview on the right. So I'm going to select all there and then paste in. Boom. Here we go. So this is a basic template for you to work from, and so you can put in the application name here. I don't know, my app, and so on. Just briefly going through these different things, you'll want like a brief description here, who it's by, more in-depth, detailed description, what's going on here. If you need to set up or install, now this has actually come in handy for myself. I've made so many programs, sometimes I'm like, how do I even like get started with this guy? How do I like start up this program? This is a really key place to put like instructions on like setup for anyone who is just like downloaded your program or something like that, or is taking over the website in the future. Yeah, any known bugs, like issues that you know need to be fixed in the future, or add-ons, the kind of stuff where you want to build it into it, like reach goals, stretch goals they're called. You could put that, you could have a stretch goal section here. Support and contact, yeah, putting your letting people know what to do if they have issues or questions. If you created code and people, you want people to reach out to you, putting email and contact info there, probably not your phone number. Email, I think, is fine. Technology is used here, so that's anywhere from HTML to JavaScript to React to whatever you happen to use, libraries we'll be using, or anything that goes in there. The license type, and we'll talk about licenses in a second, and then copyright, and you can put it, change the date, of course, and then who contributed to this. You can put in names. And looking at what all these symbols are really about, you can tell that we have these hashes at the top that kind of like determine how big something is. Kind of like synonymous to our headers, header 1, header 2, header 3, something like that. You have these underscores that make things italicized at the beginning and end. Just kind of like talking about what's going on here. Honestly, you can just go through. You don't have to understand how this works. You can go through and just like fill this out for yourself. And what else do we got here? Yeah, anything else? Sure, looks like this is doing something as well. Yeah, this is italicized, and I'm not a markdown master myself. Just It is doing something though. Perhaps like affecting the density. Oh, maybe it looks a little bit bolder. I can't really tell. But here you go. We got single asterisk make bullet points here. Boom, 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 boom. Yep. Anything else of note in terms of syntax? Not really. There are more things. Feel free to explore Markdown documentation to figure out. You can add images, you can add anchors, links, and this kind of thing. Yeah, so, but in your very least, you want to add something like this. So in terms of, right, the licensing is the last thing I want to, second to last thing I want to talk about here. You could just put an MIT license on your stuff. So an MIT license means that your code is free to use by anyone, and you are not liable for what might happen or usage of your code. You're not liable for anything with it. GPL is really similar when it's only like guarantees like open source, which you're probably safe with S1, but probably just do an MIT license and then it's fine. It's safe. Unless you think otherwise fits your project, what you're working on. Expectations, right? So moving forward, boom, it is expected that in each project that you are working on, there is a README there, and the way that you would do that simply is by going to your code sandbox IO dashboard, and we'll just add a README really quickly to, I don't know, my first web page. Sure, we double click on this and notice that, booyah, on the left we have our files, and in the future we'll have like folders and build this out more, but the README should always be in the main, the primary folder, like the primary index here, root folder, and we'll create a new file and we'll call it README. Classically, that is all capitalized, .md file extension here. And then do I still have it? Yes, I do. There it is. And wonderful. And then this is where you would add it and make sure, of course, that you save. And then you can just pretty much like copy and paste that from project to project, and they'll always have more or less the same sections and stuff. And people build those out. There are ways to, you can get into a markdown language in order to like add images and stuff. I mean, it's a thing. People like to make their documentation, which is a whole thing. Very important portion of programming is documenting your work to build and be part of this community. And part of that is like having a stylish kind of like cool webs README, and that's like a thing. So, you know, so style your own. You can add pictures or whatever. And moving forward, README is expected to be in all of your projects that you turn in. So the first big project moving forward, of course, being your independent project that's going to be coming up. So there it is. READMEs, they're cool. You use them. They're in everyone's projects. Markdown language, it's a language. All right.